Hello, welcome back to Reading Mama. My name is Heather, and today I'm going to share with you my goals, my life goals, my home goals, my reading goals, and my word of the year. And I'm going to try to do it lightning fast because your time is valuable. And you only have so much interest in me because I'm just a person here on YouTube. But I wanted to share. I'll share my reading goals at the end of the video, but I'm going to start with my word of the year. I have done word of the year for several years, the last couple of years. I've chosen a word and then it just kind of fell away. Other years it's more purposeful. It kind of just depends on how much I actually focus on it. And put it in front of my face and remember it. And then this year, as I was trying to think about what am I going to do? What do I really want from this coming year? I came across a word that really, it seems silly. It is silly. But I really do want to focus on it as the next year. I know that it would be good for me and for my family, because it's what's been missing the last couple years after some hard times. And so my word of the year is whimsy, which sounds really stupid. I know. It's just a silly, fanciful word. It means playful, quaint, or fanciful behavior or humor. And so I want more whimsy in our everyday life. Finding the joy, the beauty, the play in everyday life. And I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. I don't know how I'm going to instill that. I have some ideas. Maybe I'll come back and share. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a word of the year update. But yeah, whimsy. I want more whimsy in life. And I try to pair it with a verse whenever I do a word. Obviously, whimsy is not in my Bible. I don't know. I use King James. Maybe it's in your Bible. I don't know. But a verse that stuck out to me was Psalm 118:24. And it says, "This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." And that's what I want. I want our days to be full of more joy and more play and more happiness, and just not that we are like sullen and dark. I did have a rough couple years, and that has taken its toll on me, and I see a light coming out of that, and I am so grateful for the Lord bringing me there. But I want to make sure I'm keep focusing on that and rejoicing in what God has given us and moving forward and putting that in our family. Part of that is also just reading more for fun and not because I have to read it for school, which I enjoy doing, not because I think it will improve me. Also, I'm one of those people who likes the fantasy books, but also enjoys the self-help books to an extent. So, I mean, but I've just been reading more fiction and fun and just silly, and I've enjoyed that. And I think that has inspired me that I want more just silly joy, fun, and play in my life. I have 8 kids. My oldest is 15. She'll be 16 this summer. Time's running out to have fun. We need to have more fun. So whimsy is my word of the year. That leads me on to what are some of my goals in my home. And I am very much let's make the goals, write them all down, and then kind of like when you make your TBR list and then you have all those great goals of reading those books that month, and then your notebook gets like shoved under something, and then you're like, "Ooh, shiny new book. Let me read that." That's kind of what happens with a lot of my goals. I think it does for a lot of us. And so part of that is putting in the forefront, making, like, I can make all the spreadsheets and throw them in a binder, but if I throw the binder and put it away, then so making these easy, attainable, and things that are going to be right in front of my face, like, oh yeah, you need to do this. So let's go through a couple things. First up is health. I have been pregnant or nursing a baby for 15 years, and a lot of other slew of issues have happened over those times. Clearly, I have not put my health personally on the front burner, and I'm trying to do that through books, through work, all kinds of things. And one of the ways that I'm doing that is making my kids hold me accountable. So like, I have one of my kids, like, you have to make sure Mama uses her new walking pad every day. If I haven't used it by quiet time, come tell me. And she enjoys holding that over me. So that's good. And then just a few other things like, oh, Mama, by the way, trying to teach my kids how to do it graciously. That's another thing. Other thing is on my health goal is sleeping better and realizing that I have an infant who nurses in the middle of the night, so I'm not going to get my 8 hours of sleep. Instead of begrudging that I didn't get that or being jealous of my husband who did get that but doesn't think he did, is learning that my sleep is just going to be different. And so some of that has been, and especially in the last couple months, being like, okay, you know what? I got up early. I stayed up late talking to a teenager. I didn't sleep all night. Got up early and got breakfast ready. Rather than being jealous or begrudging or angry, Mama's going to go take a 30-minute nap. So if Mama is tired, if it's at all possible, I'm gonna go take a nap. And so that's making sleep a priority. And yeah, I know I should have figured this out like 8 kids ago, but I didn't. And so adding that in has changed a lot. And yeah, now that mama's getting some sleep, I'm a lot happier person. Go figure. So yeah, I have some spiritual goals. I'm really hoping to read and pray more specifically. Maybe I'll prayer journal. I don't know. I like the idea of journals. I love journals. I love them. I don't always use them though. Again, it's part of that always having a baby and trying to do 5,000 things. I can't always be like, okay, mama needs to sit down and journal. But I'm trying. So maybe a prayer journal. I've tried that a couple times. Doesn't always work for me. I don't know. But I am going to, I have a couple of spiritual goals of reading better, focusing more. And one of them is going to be using this reading guide that I got recommended from Chantel Reads All Day. And who is it by? It is by Desiree Talbert. And basically you're just spending the whole year reading Psalms. Every month you read through Psalms. Pretty easy. You can, technology is amazing. You can listen to it. So I really enjoy simplicity and repetitiveness. And so you have like your little check mark there. You can color it. On the next page, you have a spot to praise God for his character, take some notes, verse and notes, and then prayers and paraphrase. And then you go on to the next month. And it's really neat. It's if you're not starting this in January, cool. You can start anyway because it says second month. It doesn't say February. So, you know, obviously I'm going to have to do something if I do this one in February, but you don't have to start it in February or in January. You can do it whenever. And so I'm looking forward to doing this along with trying to do another Bible study as well. I always make a creative goal for the year and it's like hit or miss. Because again, I don't always have hands free because I always have a baby or a toddler or somebody needs to go to the bathroom and needs help or whatever it is. So I don't always have hands free. So crafts are hard, but I enjoy watercoloring and I haven't done it since the baby was born. And I hate that because I love it. It is like when I sit down and do it, it really does. There's joy in my heart. There is peace. I'm like, oh, this feels so much better. But then the next day I get busy and I forget that actually brought me peace. That makes sense. Other things I enjoy doing is embroidery and crocheting. And so I have lots of things that I like to do. I do a lot of crocheting right before Christmas, making gifts. But my main goal for this next year, I am hoping to make new stockings for all my kids. And I'm hoping to start that as soon as I locate a pattern I like and the yarn I like. But I'm working on this blanket for my oldest, which she requested a while ago. So it goes like this. It's twin width. I need to make it twin length. I told her maybe by the time she graduates, she's a sophomore. So I'm hoping to work on that a little bit every day or every week. And that's one of my creative goals. And then I also have some goals for our house. I want to get better about making bread every time and also a cleaning rotation. I think everybody has a new cleaning rotation in January, but mine, for real, I need a new cleaning rotation. I used to have carpet throughout the house and now we have all hardwoods, and while we're maintaining, we're kind of sporadic and a little scatterbrained about it, trying to balance our schedule of school and out of the house with cleaning. And I need to just sit down and be like, okay, this is the day we're doing this because yeah, it's really sporadic right now and we haven't adjusted in the last few months very well with that. School goals, because we homeschool, I'm hoping I have 3 main school goals. I want to have end of the week check-ins with my kids. I always make that as a goal and then it like falls by the wayside. And I want to make a time each afternoon where I sit down and prepare for the next day. Because I have so many learners, it's easy for me to do all the front-end planning, and then as the time goes by, I forget to get things ready. So like we're running around at the last minute trying to find the science stuff or try to get snack for the next day ready or whatever it may be. And so I just want to prepare, like set aside half hour to an hour every afternoon, be like, okay, this is mom's time. I'm going to go prepare this. And so that was one of my goals. And then also making go bags, which I do have to an extent, but again, they've gotten a little scattered over the year for when we have like on church day, this is our bag and we have it to go. When we are going to choir, which is out of town and we're gone for hours, like have this ready to go with the things for the little kids, the dinners, whatever, you know, and just preparing that ahead. So there's a lot more preparing that I need to work on. And then I have one more life goal, and that is to connect more. And it is to connect across the board. So I would like to work on hosting. We host people a lot for things that I have to host. I have to host. I enjoy it. I love it. We have a visiting missionary. They come over and join us for a meal. I love it. But I'd like to have more purposeful hosting things for my kids. And so I'm thinking maybe doing something quarterly. I don't know if it'll be like a book club or just a dinner or, something fun for the kids or for us as a family to host someone else. And so I'm praying about how to do that to get us to connect more, because we're at a church with a lot of older people who we absolutely love. But we are missing some of that same age connections. And so just praying about how I can foster that and get it to be a little better. Also trying to do dates with my kids. I've done that in the past and they absolutely loved it. Just go to dinner and run errands with one kid alone, and with this many kids, it's hard to do, as you can imagine. And so I want to bring that back. I think that will bring some of the whimsy, the play, the joy for my kids. Also reinstating bedtime stories and having purposeful dates with my husband. I know that sounds weird, but we get in a really bad habit of, let's just turn on a movie, or I'll read and he works on his computer or whatever at night, and we call that a date because we order takeout or something like that, or we just sit together. And so we need to be more proactive about that. And so we're gonna work on that so that we have maybe monthly dates. I'm not gonna give it a date or a specific time frame because we're a ministry family with a lot of kids, so it's just not realistic. But being more purposeful about pursuing dates with my husband. So that's how I'm hoping to connect. All right, now to the part you really are caring about, which is the reading goals. And my reading goals are super simple this year. I will share in another video my reading journal that I have, but it is not so much goal focused as it's just fun way of expressing what I'm reading. And I think it was just fun to create. But I'm hoping to journal monthly to keep it up to date. That's one of my goals. I am hoping to reinstate bedtime story with my kids. Like I said, it's a lot of kids. Bedtime is staggered. And I've already read a lot for homeschool today. So sometimes bedtime is not the best time for mama to read aloud, especially when we're out and about a lot. I need to stop making excuses and reinstate it because they absolutely love it. So working on that, we're going to start with Heartwood Hotel for the little kids, and my big kids, I'm going to finish a book we started in the summer. That is my number one goal there. And then other reading goals I have is to read and finish one nonfiction book every month. This year I went way heavy into fiction and fantasy and sci-fi and all those wonderful things, but I struggled to do my nonfiction books, which I actually do enjoy. But it's kind of one of those things you get out of the habit and then you don't have a taste for it because you're out of the habit. And then once you try to introduce it, you're like, oh, that's good. Anyways, I digress. I need to start doing that more because I have a ton of nonfiction books that I really, really want to read. And so saying I have to read one a month will help focus me on that. Also, I'm trying to read 50 plus of my physical TBR books. Now, I will show you right now. I did make a page just for my physical TBR for 100 books. I don't think I'm going to get there. But I did type up all my books into my home library catalog, and I have over 100 books on my physical TBR that I haven't read. So I think 50 is an admirable goal, especially since I read almost 200 books this year. So there's that. And then I have an author of the year that I want to focus on. I actually have two because I don't really know how this is going to go. I had C.S. Lewis last year and it was hit or miss. I'm learning. I don't always love C.S. Lewis. I know. Please don't hate me. I love Narnia. I love Narnia. Not loving the space trilogy. Finished Mere Christianity with mixed results. I loved it. It was enjoyable. There are things that I disagree with. And I'm okay with reading books that I disagree with, but it didn't make me like, woohoo, yay, C.S. Lewis is amazing. I didn't fall absolutely head over heels with him because of that book. So I'm going to continue reading him. But anyways, my author for this next year that I really want to focus on is George MacDonald. And that is because he is such an inspiration to Lewis and Tolkien, but also because I've only read The Princess and the Goblin by him. And then I think I read one of his short ones. I think The Light Princess or something like that. And so I would like to read more of his books just because I do enjoy the fantasy. I want some of that more serious and not necessarily I want to read some classics of his. I also would like to dabble into G.K. Chesterton. I am not going to claim him as my author of the year, though I am going to make a purposeful effort to read more Chesterton. So I got the G's here. I got George MacDonald and G.K. Chesterton that I'm going to kind of focus on, including more in my reading. There's a lot of other authors out there that I want to read, and I can't read them all. That's okay. And so I'm struggling to figure out exactly how I'm going to narrow that down, because there are some books that you can just read in a gulp, and there are some that you have to take time. And so keeping my reading goals fairly open helps me to do that. And so, like I said, I have my reading journal that I've been working on, and I have different things that I want to do, but they're not necessarily like purposeful goals where I'm going to focus on them too much. I do have mother's education and other things that will fall into reading goals, but as an overall goal, they're not my focus. So that's what I have going on this year. Those are my goals. Let me know what your goals are. Let me know if you have any comments about what I said or shared, and if you agree, disagree, whatever. And I'll come back from the next video and I'll share a little peek into my reading journal for next year. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.